Shalom from Israel to all of the Daystar viewers around the world. I'm Moshe Bar Tzvi, the producer and founder of Israel Now News. We at Israel Now News are dedicated to bringing you the full story and the truth about Israel from Israel. It's written in the Holy Bible when David said in Psalm 25:5, "Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long." And God says in Zechariah 8:16, "These are the things that you shall do. Speak out the truth to one another. Judge with truth and judgment to peace in your gates. And always search for the truth, and the truth shall set you free." John 8:31. I hope you enjoyed the program. God bless you from Jerusalem. Shalom, shalom.
Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner.
In our top story, Iran used the recent nuclear talks to distract the world while it covered up evidence of its nuclear program. The International Atomic Energy Agency has obtained satellite images which reflect that major demolition was underway at Iran's main nuclear site during the talks between Iran and the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council plus Germany. Yukiya Amano, Director General of the IAEA, said that satellite imagery indicates that these activities include the use of water, demolition of buildings, removing fences, and moving soil at the Parchin site. Parchin is at the epicenter of the international community's concern over the military nature of Iran's nuclear program. The IAEA has repeatedly requested to tour the Parchin facility, where it believes Iran recently carried out high explosive tests.
Russian President Vladimir Putin visited Israel last week for the first time since his re-election in May. He met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss many issues, but Iran's nuclear program was the focus of their dialogue. Moscow has taken an opposite stance regarding Tehran's rogue atomic development than Israel and the diplomatic process chosen by the international community. Jerusalem feels that the recent P5+1 talks are being used by the Islamic Republic as a stalling tactic to permit more time to further its nuclear program. But Putin said that he believes that those talks were effective. Nevertheless, following their summit, the 2 world leaders held a joint press conference during which the Israeli Prime Minister stated that he and Vladimir Putin agreed that a nuclear-armed Iran would constitute a grave danger not only to Israel, but the entire world.
The Egyptian State Election Committee has officially announced that Mohamed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood Party won the presidential election. Morsi was endorsed early on by the Gaza-based terrorist organization Hamas. Upon news of Morsi's victory, members of Hamas took to the streets to celebrate his election with gunfire. Senior Hamas official Mahmoud Zahar said that Morsi's victory was a defeat for the security cooperation with the enemy, Israel. Morsi's victory came as a great disappointment to the democratic movement in Egypt, the group which was responsible for spearheading the popular uprising which led to the fall of Hosni Mubarak 16 months ago. The Christian population of Egypt also expressed their anxiety over the selection of Morsi, who was recently quoted by Egypt's Al-Bashair website as saying that he will achieve the Islamic conquest of Egypt for the second time and make all Christians convert to Islam, pay the jizya tax, or leave Egypt. Morsi campaigned on a platform of reviewing the peace treaty with Israel, and the Jewish state was naturally concerned over the Muslim Brotherhood's rise to power. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued a statement expressing the desire for continued peace and cooperation between Egypt and Israel. He said that upholding the peace treaty was in the interest of both countries.
The capital of Israel has been the target of a recent wave of nationally motivated arson attacks. According to the spokesman for Jerusalem's firefighting services, there have been more than 300 fires in the city over the past several weeks. A police spokesperson said that the investigation of the arson cases has been made a top priority on instructions of the district commander. 14 IDF soldiers were hospitalized last week after Arab teenagers started a fire near an Israeli army base on Mount Scopus. In a related story, a potential massacre was thwarted when a man witnessed Arab terrorists in Ramla firebombing a parked car with a mother and her young children inside. The man was able to extinguish the flames before anyone was hurt, and the assailants were arrested.
Turkey has made a formal complaint to NATO over the loss of a Turkish fighter jet which was shot down by the Syrian army in international airspace. Turkish officials claim the jet was flying solo on a test mission and that it was clearly marked with the Turkish flag. The Turkish foreign minister said, "Our plane was shot at a distance of 13 sea miles from Syria's border in international airspace." He went on to say that according to the radar images, the aircraft lost contact with headquarters after it was hit because the pilot lost control. It crashed into Syrian waters after making abnormal movements. Throughout this entire period, no warning was given to the Turkish plane. Turkey's President Abdullah Gül said that they will take retaliatory steps. And according to Turkey's labor minister, retaliation may come in the form of diplomatic consequences, or it may be another type of response. The European Union condemned Syria, but voted against any military intervention. The Italian foreign minister said, "This episode illustrates how the Syrian crisis is escalating and how important it is to find a resolution to the violence." Just 30 miles from the site of the downed plane, Turkey has built a refugee camp to shelter Syrians fleeing violence in their home country. Although Ankara is providing amnesty to the Syrian Free Army, it denies providing any weapons to the rebel forces. Recent reports, however, shed light on Turkey's involvement in the uprising against the Assad regime. Aaron Viner has more on that story.
According to the British Guardian newspaper, Turkey is doing more to aid the Syrian resistance than merely providing safe haven for refugees from the war-torn Arab Republic. A command center has reportedly been established in Istanbul to cooperate with rebel commanders in Syria. The article also cited the coordinated efforts of certain Arab states to provide weapons and supplies to the Free Syrian Rebel Army. The Guardian noted that Saudi Arabia has approved a plan to pay members of the opposition force salaries as a means of encouraging military defectors to join the armed resistance. The decision to pay the guerrilla fighters is viewed as an attempt to rejuvenate the uprising and eventually to topple Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Just 6 weeks ago, the northern resistance was on the verge of being crushed by Assad's forces, but the influx of weapons provided by surrounding Arab nations has revived the fighting. U.S. Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta said that the United States has made a decision to not provide lethal assistance at this point, although others have made their own decisions.
The state of Israel has been under a steady barrage of rocket fire originating from Gaza. The Iron Dome missile defense system has intercepted numerous Grad rockets despite a ceasefire declared by Hamas. In the span of 1 week, more than 150 rockets were fired into southern Israel. The IDF has warned that quiet will be met with quiet and fire will be met with fire. The Iron Dome has destroyed most of the rockets fired within range of the civilian population. The effectiveness of the missile defense system was recognized yet again last week with the decision to award the creators of the Iron Dome the 2012 Israel Defense Prize.
The Palestinian Authority is attempting to undermine Israel and the international community by proposing that UNESCO recognize several tourist attractions be recognized as located in Palestine. The annual World Heritage Committee is currently meeting in St. Petersburg, where the addition of 33 new sites deemed as having outstanding international value are under consideration. The PA has proposed that Bethlehem's Church of the Nativity and several other sites be awarded the distinction, hoping that by doing so, the geographical location of Palestine would officially be listed by the United Nations as an independent sovereign nation for the first time. Last October, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization lost 22% of its funding when it chose to violate the United Nations bylaws by recognizing Palestine as a member state.
Israel has forcefully relocated the residents of the Ulpana neighborhood in the biblical heartland of Samaria. The evacuation of the Beit El suburb comes after a 5-year legal battle in Israel's Supreme Court. The High Court ruled that the 33 residents of Ulpana be relocated. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu chose not to circumvent the court's ruling. He did, however, promise not to demolish the homes, but to move them to another area of Beit El. He also stated that each home that will be evacuated will see 10 new buildings constructed in Judea and Samaria. This aided the residents of Ulpana in their decision to accept the eviction peacefully. Rabbi Zalman Melamed, who is credited with brokering the passive expulsion agreement, led the dispossessed families in a morning prayer service before they were removed from their homes. He said, God willing, there will be an even bigger neighborhood here. We will return to these homes and the land of Israel will be rebuilt.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus calmed a raging storm. Experience Jerusalem, where Jesus restored a paralyzed man. Explore Capernaum, where Jesus spoke a centurion servant into health. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
You'll never be the same.
And that concludes the news portion of our show. Please stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein, and we're here on a beautiful day in Jerusalem on our rooftop studio. Our guest today is David Fatal, owner and chairman of Fatal and Leonardo Hotels. David, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me.
David, you own the largest network of hotels in Israel. How important is Christian tourism to Israel?
Oh, it's very important. Actually, we have 30 hotels here in Israel, and I think about 15 of them is based on pilgrimage and Christian guests. So we have hotels in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, in Tiberias, all over Israel. So for us, it's very important.
You know, the tourism ministry just came out with figures saying that we're breaking all the records in tourism this year. Why do you think so many people are coming to Israel now?
I think the first reason is because there's a quiet, or let's say it's sort of a peaceful atmosphere, no threats and no security problems, etc. But mainly, the main reason is because we are here in the center of the world, in the Holy Land, and everybody wants to come and see the Holy Land. Everybody heard about it. All the religious, from all over the world. I mean, people have, feelings for this country, and we feel it from Jews, Christian, Muslim, etc. And even if they are not so religious, they really think that they have to come. And when they come, they're thrilled. They feel that something happens to them, even if they are not so religious.
You know, we live in Israel and we know how peaceful Israel is. In fact, Jerusalem is the safest capital statistically in the world. Yet the media around the world tries to portray Israel as a dangerous place. Coming from the tourism industry, how do we overcome that stereotype and let people know really how safe it is here in Israel?
Yes, I heard a lecture that last year and the year before, in those 2 years, we had less than 20 people died from terrorist action in Israel. I think this is, you don't want to play with numbers, but this is really nothing. I mean, we are safe and peace here. The problem is that the media all over the world looks for news, look for action, and everybody's eyes and all the countries want to be involved in what's happening in Jerusalem and in Israel. So whatever happens, if even someone throws a stone or something, it gets to the media. We have to overcome it by spreading the news. I mean, when people come here and go back, they tell their friends, and everybody comes, bring friends, and come again and again. And this is the best way. I mean, every tourist here is an ambassador to Israel when he goes back to his country.
One of the amazing statistics I heard is that we're actually running out of hotel rooms in Israel, that if tourism rates continue, there won't be enough rooms for people to come. What kind of plans do you have to make more space for more tourists to come?
Yes, actually it's becoming a reality that you have a lot of overbooking and hotels full. And you know, last month we had the occupancy over 90% on most of our hotels, which is unheard of.
Wow.
And our plan is to continue expand. I mean, we want to build more hotels in Tiberias. We are negotiating to do something, another hotel in Jerusalem. Actually, all over, we are looking to expand, and it's a lot of fun when the hotels are full and everybody is happy.
You know, the tourism ministry, the hotel associations are investing in bringing Bible-believing Christians to Israel. What kind of plans do we have for the future to get more people to come?
I mean, we have to spread the news. I mean, we have to broadcast to the people. We have to go and visit them. We have to talk to the church and convince the people to come. And I think it's like a rolling ball. It becomes more and more, and this is the best plan. I mean, of course, you have to advertise, etc. But you know, Jerusalem and Israel is a brand that everybody knows. I mean, when you try to advertise a resort in Turkey or Philippines, etc., you have to invest a lot in order for the people to know about you. But when you say Jerusalem, everybody knows about Jerusalem. So we just have to mention it and to show the people that it's safe and fun to be here.
You know, your personal story is an inspiration to all Israelis, how you were able to come from modest beginnings and build this hotel empire with the help of God. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about your background?
Yes, I've started my career at the age of 21. After I served 3 years in the army, in the Israeli army, and actually I started as a reception clerk in a hotel in Haifa, and I've studied a lot in Israel and abroad, but I was always working in hotels and step up the ladder. I mean, I studied in Israel and even in Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, and here I've done running hotels and building the chain of the Holiday Inn here in Israel. And 12 years ago, I've started my own chain, which started as a management company. We run a hotel for other groups, and then we start buying hotels. And now we are 30 hotels in Israel and another 35 hotels in Europe. And hopefully, with the help of God, in 1 or 2 years' time, we'll be in the States as well.
Amazing. You know, we have literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for our viewers?
I mean, the best message I could convey is that you really should come here. It's the most beautiful city in the world, Jerusalem, and it's a beautiful and peaceful country, Israel, and you should come and visit us in Israel, in Jerusalem, in the Leonardo hotels. Looking forward to see you and host you privately. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for being on the show. And
Thank
thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.
Up next, Shining Light from Israel.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come visit Capernaum, where Jesus restored a paralytic's helpless legs. Sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus walked on the water. Stroll through the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus healed a servant's ear. To learn more about standing where it all happened, in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
You'll never be the same.
Please stay tuned for the ICEJ report from the International Christian Embassy in Jerusalem.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come explore Jerusalem, where Jesus opened blind eyes. Visit the hills of Galilee, where Jesus fed the multitude. Stroll through Capernaum, where Jesus lived and taught and healed. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
You'll never be the same.
We are here outside the International Convention Center in Jerusalem. It is here where the International Christian Embassy presents every year the Feast of Tabernacles celebration. The Feast of Tabernacle has become a wonderful celebration of exciting worship and of the teaching of the Word of God here in the city of the Great King. Every year, thousands of Christians come to Jerusalem to celebrate with us this exciting Feast of Tabernacles. It has become, over the last decades, Israel's largest tourist event. And it is the prophet Zechariah who speaks about a time when one day all the nations of the world will come to Jerusalem to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles here in the city in Zion.
And it shall come to pass that everyone who is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
What is most exciting for me every year at the Feast of Tabernacles is to see the nations literally from the ends of the world coming to Jerusalem to worship the God of Israel together in unity in a wonderful setting of dance, drama and worship expression in music. Here are just a few highlights from last year's Feast of Tabernacles.
Welcome the Czech Republic.
Israel!
The Christian Embassy has branches in more than 70 nations.
השגרירות הנוצרית מפוזרת במעל 17 אומות.
And I would like to have our national directors from the ICJ to stand up that you can see them. These people which are standing
האנשים שעומדים כאן
are Israel's best friends today.
הם החברים הטובים ביותר של ישראל היום.
They work day and night to support Israel,
הם עובדים יומם וליל כדי לתמוך בישראל,
to defend Israel,
כדי להגן על ישראל.
and to make sure that Israel is not alone.
Shalom Aleichem. Hebenu Shalom Aleichem. Hebenu Shalom Aleichem. Hebenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what could stand against? And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us?
This year's Feast of Tabernacle will take place from the 30th of September to the 4th of October. And I personally would like to invite you to join us for this exciting conference in Jerusalem. Find out more on our website, and tour options are available through the offices of our national branches around the world. I believe this year's Feast of Tabernacles will be a life-changing experience for you and for your family. Therefore, please prayerfully consider to join us at the Feast of Tabernacle in this year here in Jerusalem. May the Lord bless you out of Zion.
Now available from our online web store, the 2011 Feast of Tabernacles Highlights DVD. This wonderful 90-minute video captures highlights from the worship and teaching of the 2011 Feast of Tabernacles. Visit www.icej.tv for more details.
That's all for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner. Please join us again next week for all your Israel updates.